In this video, I'll show you how to use Figma Make's AI to rapidly create prototypes of your amazing ideas. I'll cover what Figma Make is, how you can write effective prompts, and how you can iterate towards the designs that reflect your ideas. Earlier this year, Figma launched Figma Make, which is an AI-driven tool that allows you to just write your text prompts in and it will generate fully coded websites or apps. I'm Sam, I'm a product manager by training, and I've always got loads of ideas that I want to bring to life and talk to stakeholders about, but sometimes it's hard to do that. So let's use Figma Make to do that exactly today. The idea I've got and I want to experiment with is a platform of AI characters that you can speak to, different representatives of a product team. So let's jump into the tool and show you how I do this. Here I am on Figma, and all you need to do to get started is click on this button up the top that says Make to get into Figma Make. And when you get there, the first thing it will ask you is, what do you want to make? Now, to do this, what I would recommend you do is you actually spend a little bit of time designing your prompt. Let me show you how I did this. Firstly, I actually went into ChatGPT and I had a bit of a conversation with ChatGPT. I actually love using the dictate mode on here, and I told it a bit about what I wanted to create. And you can see I've got a whole set of information here where I'm basically working with and going back and forth with ChatGPT to make sure it's really clear what I'm trying to create. And I eventually then pasted that as a prompt into a Google document, and you can see that I've gone with this structure. So firstly, I've got a bit about the task. I'm looking to create a website page about AI characters. I've given it a little bit of context. I've then got a whole section on the key elements that I would like to be in that design. You see this goes on for a little way. Then a bit about the expected behavior, and finally some constraints, including things like the color tone. I'm using the channel tones on this, so the blues, the yellows, the whites, the blacks that I use on this channel, and a little bit more about the visual and design constraints. What I'd recommend with a prompt like this is you want to be fairly specific, but at the same time, one of the great things about a tool like Figma is that you can allow it to create for you and you can use its creativity. So don't overwork the prompt. What I'll do is I'll copy this whole thing and then I'll paste it in here. And all we need to do is press this button to start. You'll see it then takes a little bit of time thinking. On the left-hand side, you can see it's taken my prompt in and then it's reasoning to come up with some initial designs. After a few minutes, it then comes up with a fully designed and coded website. Now, I put a very long prompt in here, so it actually took 3 or 4 minutes to create this. But let's have a look at what it's come up with. I've got here an AI product team, and you can see there are a number of different cards for different roles within the team. I've designed this as a tool that's aimed at product managers like myself to be able to have AI conversations with domain experts within a product delivery squad. So each of these are different representatives. Now, I was imagining it having an image of a character, a person, like figure on each of these cards, but it's actually come up with an icon that represents the role. I quite like this in its own way. And you can see there's a bit of filtering on here as well. I'll see if that works. If I filter by engineering, you see there's a software engineer. Click design, there's a designer. Click all, can see all. And I also asked it about making light and dark mode. And so you can see it actually does that really well. I can then also go into hopefully one of these cards. So if I go to speak to Alex Chen, the product designer, you see there's a little bit about what they do and a description about their role. And then we can get into a conversation with them. You can see there is a interface here that looks a bit like a ChatGPT style interface. You can speak to them, you can upload a document. You can type in here. Let me just write dummy text. I can press enter, see what it does. You see it's now just, it's responding for the sake of it, but you can see that it's showing how the interface might work. You can click regenerate, see how this interaction works. This is super impressive for what in reality was a very short effort in creating some prompts that represented the ideas that I've got. Now, if there's something that you didn't like at this point and you wanted to change, then it's really easy to do that too. All you need to do is go back into this text box in the left-hand corner and ask for what changes you want. So for instance, let's try making that change where my expectation was there was going to be almost a photo-like character for each of these AI product team members. Let's try doing that. Let me type it in. I'm going to try this as a really easy prompt. So I've just written update the icons for each character to be photorealistic images representing each person on the team. Let's see if it understands what I mean by that and what it does. All I'll do is I'll press enter on here. Now I've waited a couple of minutes and it's made some updates, and you can see that there's now photos in the places of different team members. Let's have a look at what it actually did, because I gave it a good description, or a pretty rough description. But what I could see it was doing is it was looking at, well, if I was going to update Alex Chen, the product designer, I need to not just update it here, but also on this place and in the chat itself. So you can see it making that reasoning as it's going. Again, I think this looks pretty good. It's got a slightly better representation of who these people are. Some of them are a little bit too stock imagery for me, but they work quite well. And there's a couple that I don't like so much. So this Sam Rodriguez, you can't really see an image on that one. You can see Riley Morgan, this character. Looks like there's a couple of people in reality, or this product marketer on this image, so it doesn't work quite as well. So it's not perfect, but you can see how you could keep iterating and evolving this by having further conversations. And with that, that is all you need to do to get your ideas down on paper using Figma Make. And that is all there is to it. Figma Make is such an easy tool to just write in your ideas, and it can come up with fully generated and coded websites very quickly. I love it. And if you found this video useful, I'd love it if you could like the video, but also think about subscribing to this channel, where I share lots of tools, tips and ideas on how you can use AI in your day-to-day life, whether you're a product manager like me or just someone that loves working on new innovations. I think this kind of tooling is so useful to get your ideas out there and get them on paper so that others can imagine what you're imagining too. It's a great way of getting alignment with stakeholders, but also helping pitch your ideas to move them forward. So whether you're using something like Figma Make or you're using another AI generated tool for creating websites, it's definitely worth experimenting with them. In truth, there are several tools like this on the market. You might have seen other videos I've made with tools like Lovable or Bolt, which also allow you to put a text prompt in and create websites. However, what's great about Figma is when I work in product teams, often I work with product designers who use Figma as a tool and have an existing way of working to hand over their designs to software developers to go and build. So what's great about Figma stepping into this space is it's already creating assets that are embedded with those workflows. So it's definitely something that's worth exploring if you work in this kind of field. If you are making use of Figma Make as part of your work, I'd love to know how you're using it and what you think is good and bad about it. Let me know in the comments below. And also, if you want to see other use cases that are created using Figma, in particular Figma Make, let me know and I'll happily make those videos too. That's all for this video. Until next time, have a great time making amazing products.